Hi everyone, we're going to sketch a graph of this polynomial and let's fill out some information. Let's look at our exponents here. These are called the multiplicity of this factor here. If you add these up, you get 1, 2, 3, 4. So our degree is 4. We'll talk about end behavior in a minute. Just know that our degree is 4 and that's an even number. And our lead coefficient here is negative. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Now our y-intercept is when x is 0. So let's plug in 0 for every x. So you get 2, negative 1, and negative 4 squared. So this is going to be 2 negatives make it positive, times 16. So it's going to be 32. And our zeros, our x-intercept is when y is 0. So this is going to be here negative 2, 1, and 4. So that's going to equal negative 2, 0, 1, 0, and 4, 0. All right, maximum turning points will be 4 minus 1, which equals 3. And after we graph, we're going to see where our y is negative and where our y is positive. Okay, on the intervals. So let's look at end behavior. Remember, even negative. Okay, so even negative. Where is even negative? Even negative is right here. So this is the part we're looking at. In our case, we have y. It resembles y equals negative x to the 4th. So it looks almost the same as that, except that it's flatter in here around the zeros, and then it shoots down faster. So something like that. We don't really care about that so much. What we care about is this end behavior right here. And all this means is when we graph our polynomial, we're going to be starting in quadrant 3 and ending in quadrant 4. And so we're going to be looking at this part right here. And all this part means is, as x values get larger and larger, our y values get smaller and smaller. And also as our x values get smaller and smaller, our y values again get smaller and smaller. So just remember, we're starting in quadrant 3 and ending in quadrant 4. Now, let's fill everything out. Our y-intercept was 16 times 2, which is 32. So it's way up here. And we're just sketching the graph, even though I have a grid here, just to get a general form of the graph. We also had x-intercepts or zeros at negative 2, 1, and 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. Now, we are starting in quadrant 3 and we want to end in quadrant 4. So we also have to look at our multiplicities here. If the power here is, the multiplicity is an even number, like this one, that means you can't cross the x-axis. You only can go back down. You can touch it and go back down. So let's look at this. We're going up to negative 2, which this is where we got our negative 2. Since that's an odd number, means I can cross. So I'm going to cross. In this case, I'm going to go all the way up to my 32, which if it's the correct graph, it would be way up higher. Okay, so then we kind of U back turn here and go to 1. That's for this portion. Since that's an odd number, that means I can cross. Now I'm going to come back and just make a U-turn. Here, I'm really, for this video, we aren't looking at our min and maxes. we're just going to kind of sketch it there. So once I get back to 4, my multiplicity is 2. Since that's even, that means I can't cross the x-axis. I have to touch it, and then you just make a U-turn and come back. So there it is. It's not that great, but there you go. So we did start in quadrant 3 and end in quadrant 4. We had 1, 2, 3 maximum turning points. And now the only thing we have to do is fill in where our f of x is negative. It's negative right here, from here to there. That means it follows, the graph is below y equals 0. And also it's negative here. From here, this whole curve is where y is negative. So that's from negative infinity to 2. Negative 2, sorry. And from 1 to infinity. And where is it positive? Where is y positive? That's this portion right here. All right. So that's from negative 2 to 1. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.